Market Intelligence Report, July 23, 2026. Geopolitical and Macroeconomics. United States forces completed a 12th successive night of strikes on Iran, while Houthis said they hit Saudi tankers and Red Sea risk forced more ship diversions. Energy logistics stayed the dominant macro input. Oil extended a multi-day climb. WTI cleared about $90 on secondary tape and CoinDesk live markets. Brent futures pressed toward the $100 handle on several midday prints, about $98 to $100 depending on venue, with Crypto Briefing framing a $100 hit and Lagarde ordering ECB staff oil and gas scenario work into the September decision. Adverse inflation paths flagged near 4.4%. Gold slipped about 2% toward about $4,047 as the dollar firmed. The dollar printed a fresh 40-year high versus the yen, and Japan's finance minister again signaled readiness for decisive forex action. United States initial jobless claims fell to 187,000 for the week ending 18 July, fewest in decades on AP and Labor Department reads. A tight labor print against oil-driven inflation fears. China began 2 days of live-fire drills in the Taiwan Strait. Secretary Rubio called Chinese South China Sea actions disturbing, met Asian allies, and said after Lavrov that Washington remains committed to ending the Ukraine war as Russia struck Ukrainian ports and the European Union layered new Moscow sanctions. Beijing sought comment on planned China. United States tariff cuts covering about $30 billion of trade, while the new United States 25% tariff on Brazilian exports remained live. Risk assets are pricing energy tails and rate path uncertainty faster than any single piece headline. General crypto market Bitcoin extended the oil-driven fade. Yahoo Finance around cut showed about $64,974, roughly minus 1.4% on the session print. Prior close near 66,081. Days range about 64,986 to 66,237. Still about half the roughly $126,200 all-time high. Ether near $1,899. XRP near $1.13. Solana near $77. CoinDesk framed a 64,000 to 66,800 holding pattern after about a 13% bounce from July lows, with oil above $90 and WLFI a session standout on the prior tape. Spot Bitcoin ETF primary market flows. Farside's last completed United States session is 22 July, about $69.1 million net, IBIT about $38.8 million, FBTC about $21.5 million, BITB about $5.4 million, BTC about $37.9 million, GBTC about minus $38.3 million. That extends the 14 through 22 July completed session sequence of about 181/108/79/227/223/$69 million. 7 green sessions and roughly $1 billion on the streak. Cointelegraph's near $1 billion framing matches the Farside sum. 23 July is blank/0 at this cut. Corporate and venue overhangs. BitMEX will shut permanently on 23 September 2026 after an HDR strategic review, with BMEX down about 90 to 98% across outlets. SmarterWeb sold about 178 Bitcoin near $65,762 to repay about $11.7 million on a convertible. Tesla held its about 11,000, 1/7. 509 Bitcoin Treasury steady and booked about $112 million impairment for the second quarter. Constructive counters. Bitmine added about 42,197 Ether, about $73 million, toward about 4.8% of supply. Amazon posted a Bitcoin and crypto ecosystem lead role with compensation up to about $514,000. Grayscale's Pandal argued Bitcoin may already have bottomed on macro-driven cycle math. Primary market ETF demand is still green, just thinner, while oil and Clarity vote friction keep spot beta soft. Wallet stats XRPL validated ledger sequence about 105.80 million. Load factor 1 with about 20 peers. No major newly reported whale dump in the last day. CoinDesk noted multi-week whale accumulation framing against smallholder capitulation on secondary tape. XLM Stellar. Protocol 27. Latest ledger about 63.61 million with solid throughput, about 505 operations and 312 successful transactions on the latest sampled ledger. HBAR network and Metal blockchain. No fresh public 24-hour wallet creation or large holder transfer prints of note. Sources: XRPL public nodes, Zirpl cluster, Stellar Horizon, on-chain recaps. Recent X posts from key accounts at Ripple. Active 22 July. UBRI 2025/26 research push across 60+ university partners, autonomous and AI-enabled financial infrastructure, tokenized assets and digital markets, post-quantum cryptography. Separately celebrated a fourth consecutive year on the CNBC Statista World's top fintech companies list. Links: https://status/207997154435154039 and at Stellar.org. Active. Institutional Trust Messaging naming FTDA, DTCC, and Wisdom Tree Prime. Hack-in Q2 2026 Security and Compliance Report with Tomer Weller on Architecture of Trust. Carry forward Danelle Dixon on-chain plus off-chain distribution blog. Today's Thursday, 23 July, 11 a.m. Eastern. Institutions as network participants panel remains the live calendar item from prior guidance. Traditional finance plus crypto convergence. 2/7. X, formerly Twitter. Ripple at Ripple on X. Blockchain is moving faster than ever, and the research keeping pace is emerging from the world's leading universities. Since 2018, Ripple's UBRI has Rails kept shipping under the oil headline. Circle signed MOUs with Kakao Group and Toss Bank to explore one stablecoin payments, remittances, merchant settlement, and tokenized services in South Korea. Myri Asset completed its controlling take of Korbit, South Korea's oldest exchange, with local media flagging a path from about 92% toward about 97%. BNY outlined year-end testing of tokenized United States treasuries on a private chain and a push to shrink weekend settlement lag on government paper. Abu Dhabi's Mubadala Capital tapped KAIO to bring a private market fund on-chain across Base, Solana, and Sway, with Coinbase taking a stake in the on-chain vehicle. Layer 0 and Kita enabled native cross-chain moves of tokenized bank deposits across Ethereum, Solana, Base, and Kita. Lombard Finance launched a Bitcoin collateral on-chain credit strategy with Flow Traders as pilot. EDX Markets closed about $76 million Series C led by SBI Holdings. BitGo and OTC Markets sketched tokenized securities access for more than 150 broker-dealers via OTC Link ATS. Swiss cantonal Bank Estado added regulated crypto trading and custody with Signum. Revolut hit about $115 billion valuation on an employee share sale. Wall Street Journal via CoinDesk. Defiant flagged tokenized equity holdings at records across Ondo, Bakkt, and Robinhood Chain with sector size near $2.3 billion, while Robinhood Chain posted about 324,000 daily active users and about $589 million TVL on 21 July. Edging base on activity, though memecoins, not tokenized stocks, drove much of the heat. Ramp added stablecoin accounts and bill pay on Stripe's Bridge/Privy Stack. BitGet registered as a New Zealand financial services provider. Carry forward stack remains live. Payward Xstocks geographic expansion, Augustus Bank Charter stablecoin rails, Telegram Gram wallet path, S&P Pantera revenue index and S&P blockchain fundamentals index, ADGM Tether Gold, LSE overnight venue plans. Distribution and bank-adjacent plumbing continue to outrun pure spot beta on energy risk days. Regulatory developments. 3/7. United States. Senate Republicans released the latest Clarity Working Draft, ethics language barring federal officials and spouses from issuing or sponsoring digital assets with a 2029 sunset, DOJ-led enforcement, developer/software protections, and updated stablecoin and illicit finance pieces in industry reads. Senator Lummis said she was pleased the text was ready and kept pushing bankruptcy/customer property treatment. Goldman Sachs CEO David Solomon publicly backed market structure clarity. The bid hit a wall the same window. Key Senate Democrats, including a 7-senator joint statement led in coverage by Alsobrooks, Booker, Cortez Masto, Gallego, Hickenlooper, Warner, and Warnock, said the draft still falls short on ethics, consumer protection, illicit finance, conflicts, and market integrity. Polymarket year-end signed into law odds cooled toward about 38 to 40% after the prior ethics-driven bounce toward the low 40s. Still a dog versus prior highs near 75%. SEC settled Coinbase long Gensler-era records / disappeared texts fight. Commissioner Pierce warned that some crypto vaults and on-chain lending may still land under securities law depending on structure. Digital Chamber's Illinois 0.2% digital asset transaction tax suit remains live. Enforcement and integrity tape. United States prosecutors about $25 million romance/investment scam crypto forfeiture push. UNODC pegged Southeast Asian scam networks at up to about $114 billion in 2025 losses with stablecoins in the rails. FATF said centralized elements frequently persist in DeFi and should be regulated. Bloomberg's Lutnick/Bo Hines/Tether influence piece on the first United States crypto law is a political risk footnote, not a new statute. NCA-funded work put direct United States crypto employment near 34,000 and economic contribution near $55 billion. Market structure hope is still real on paper. Democratic votes, ethics durability past 2029, released floor text, and oil-driven macro still gate the bid. DEFI and RWA tokenization hard operational losses dominated the window. AFX Trade's Arbitrum-side custody bridge lost about $24.15 million USDC after hot validator key compromise. Arbitrum native bridge not hit. Funds bridge to Ethereum. Hours later, a second virus, Ethereum bridge exploit drained about $7.5 million through the same vulnerability class as May. Cointelegraph tallied about $31.6 million across the two in about 7 hours, with CoinDesk's broader multi-protocol print near $35 million including B Superscript 2 network. SummerFi said it will wind down after 7 years citing an exploit. Ostium planned a 23 July reopen after the prior about $23.8 million vault hit. New OLP deposits still paused. Constructive side. Lombard Bitcoin on-chain credit with flow traders. Layer 0 Kita tokenized deposits. Mubadala/KIO and Circle Kakao Rails. Gory Protocol pushing more than 50,000 EV chargers on-chain on Sway for verifiable RWA-style revenue. eToro strategic stake in on-chain perps venue extended with Zengo tie-up. Near governance scrapped developer gas rebates so fees burn. Carry forward attrition, balance Oracle drain. SecondFi wind down, Zilliqa ledger app halt. Allbridge core, movement chapter 11, remains open. Institutional RWA and tokenized equity distribution advance. Bridge key and upgrade authority risk is the live operational tax. AI and blockchain, 4/7. Quantum and Agent Rails shared the tape. A consortium including Strategy, BlackRock, and Coinbase members pledged about $15 million toward Bitcoin quantum readiness research. Members fund independently. The group takes no Bitcoin governance role, builds on the prior Galaxy grant path. Franklin Templeton's digital assets desk reiterated agentic AI as crypto's next killer use case and stressed altcoin/blockchain rails for subcent machine payments that card networks cannot clear. Blocks Buzz. Open source Nostra workspace treating AI agents as cryptographic team members, stayed in circulation. Follow through on the OpenAI sandbox escape/Hugging Face breach. Hugging Face's CEO said local Chinese model GLM 5.2 helped incident work when United States commercial models would not. A sovereignty and open weight signal. White House accused Moonshot AI of distilling Anthropic tech for K3 with sanctions/export restriction warnings. DeepSeek's founder said AGI over profit and likely open source top models. Eatsai/Reuters. Uber cut about 10% of customer service staff and explicitly blamed AI productivity. Anthropic joined the United Kingdom FCA's next AI supercharged sandbox cohort. Alphabet's earnings beat on revenue but raised AI spend again and sold off after hours. Another oil plus capex crosswind into risk. Open models, agent identity/payments, quantum hard money research, and AI compute capex remain multi-year infrastructure. and same-week Bitcoin inputs when chips, safety incidents, or policy gap. Prediction markets clarity year-end contracts remain the policy tape. Polymarket signed into law in 2026 cooled toward about 38 to 40% after Democrats blasted the new draft, down from the ethics bounce low 40s and far below prior highs near 75%. Polymarket said it will legally challenge France's nationwide site block, ANJ illegal gambling framing. CalSure midterm hubs, Talos institutional tooling on CalSure, and House Subcommittee CFTC oversight arguments remain carry-forward distribution architecture. State, federal sports betting fights and the prior Washington state CalSure injunction stay the overhang. Hyperliquid HIP-4 stake-gated deployers remain the crypto-native design contrast. Event contracts still price United States market structure as much as war and sports, and face the same sovereignty and integrity frictions. Risks/opportunity analysis risks. 12th night United States, Iran kinetic action, Houthi Saudi tanker claims, Red Sea diversions, and Brent pressing the $100 zone can reprice inflation expectations and defensive beta into equity and crypto risk. Clarity text is out, but 7+ Senate Democrats say ethics and integrity still fail. A failed pre-recess push would unwind the policy bid. Polymarket already cooled toward about 38 to 40%. Oil-led macro already knocked Bitcoin back under $65,000 even as ETFs printed a 7th green session. Bridge-key exploits, AFX about $24 million, Virus about $7.5 million, plus SummerFi wind down and Ostium recovery keep operational risk elevated. BitMEX's September shutdown and BMEX collapse, SmarterWeb's Bitcoin Treasury repay sale, and Tesla's impairment show corporate and venue fragility. OpenAI Hugging Face containment fallout and White House distillation accusations raise agent to mainnet and AI geopolitics tales. FATF DeFi centralization push and Illinois tax litigation add policy friction outside pure Washington market structure. Opportunities, 5 out of 7. 22 July's about $69.1 million spot Bitcoin ETF print and a 7-session / roughly $1 billion inflow streak are still the hardest primary market bid since the June exodus. Thinner, not broken. Full clarity floor text with enforceable ethics, if it converts into Democratic votes before August recess, remains the largest near-term United States market structure catalyst. Circle, Kakao, Toss One Rails, Myri Corbett, BNY tokenized Treasuries Path, Mubadala/KIO on-chain funds, Layer 0, Kita deposit bridging, Lombard, Flow Traders Bitcoin Credit, EDX Series C, Stellar institutional validator and analytics stack, Ripple UBRI AI/tokenization/PQC research, strategy, BlackRock Coinbase quantum funding, and Franklin Templeton agentic payment framing form a dense rails and infrastructure stack beneath the oil headline. Recommendations. Short term, track whether Bitcoin holds the mid-60,000s against Brent near $100, Hormuz/Red Sea transit, and any official Democratic whip count on the new clarity draft. Confirm the next full United States ETF session after 22 July's about $69 million print. Watch Ostium reopen quality and any AFX/Virus recovery or copycat bridge drains. Midterm, follow Senate clarity floor text, ethics sunset mechanics through 2029, and August recess calendar. Genius proposal finalization versus January 2027 effective date math. Stellar Tier 1 validator onboarding quality and 23 July institutions panel outcomes. Circle, Kakao 1 stablecoin pilots. Myri Corbett integration, BNY tokenized treasury test scope, Russia crypto law signature path, BitMEX wind down client flows, SummerFi/Ostium/AFX incident, remediation. Long-term, favor bank distributed and comparable regime stablecoins, tokenized securities with real transfer agent or CBDC adjacent rails, multi-jurisdiction RWA settlement, stake-gated prediction venues with clear liability, quantum-aware monetary rails, and open agent payment standards with hardened containment over weekend war premium and oil spike price theater. Key metrics to watch: Bitcoin path versus $64,000 to $67,000 into oil/Hormuz, Red Sea tails, and clarity vote math. United States spot Bitcoin ETF daily net flows after the about 181/108/79/132/2 $227/203/$69 million 7-session sequence. Far side. 23 July blank at cut. Official Democratic responses to released clarity text. Ethics. Sunset durability, vote counts, and year-end poly market odds versus about 38 to 40%. WTI/Brent. $90/$100 zone. Hormuz and Red Sea transit. Iran night 13 plus escalation. Houthi Saudi shipping claims. Genius final rule publications versus 18 January 2027 effective date. Foreign issuer and Tether platform eligibility clocks. Stellar MoneyGram/figure/range Tier 1 validator go live. 23 July panel and RWA dashboard adoption circle. Cacao. Toss pilots. Myri Corbett volumes. BNY Treasury tokenization tests. Mubadala/KAIO fund flows. Layer 0. Key to deposit transfer metrics. AFX/Virus/Ostium/Summerfi recovery paths. Lombard Bitcoin credit deposits strategy. BlackRock, Coinbase quantum grant deployment. OpenAI, Hugging Face follow-through. AI, Capex and big tech earnings as crypto beta inputs. XRPL and Stellar Ledger activity and Ripple UBRI/product messaging follow through. This is not financial advice. This has been your daily market intelligence report for the July 23, 2026.